Today we'll be discussing another set of MCQs on Sales of Goods Act. So the first question is delivery of a go down keys. Delivery of go down keys amounts to A. Symbolic delivery, B. Actual delivery, C. Constructive delivery, D. All of these. So give your answer. Delivery of a keys of go down. What it is? A. Symbolic, B. Actual, C. Constructive, D. All of these. So everyone have given the correct answer. Happy to see that. The concepts are going good. People have understood by now that with different kinds of delivery, what's the concept. And it's a symbolic delivery, yes. Because we are not giving the entire goods, we are just giving the keys of the go down where the goods are stored. So all can mark themselves as one. They have done correct. That is symbolic delivery is the correct answer. Next question. Where there is a contract for the sale of specific goods, the contract is dash if the goods without the knowledge of the seller have before the contract was made perished or become so damaged as no longer to answer to the description in the contract. Options: A. Void, B. Voidable, C. Valid and enforceable, and D. Illegal. So, where there is a contract for a sale of specific goods, the contract is dash if the goods without the knowledge of the seller have, before the contract was made, perished or become so damaged as no longer to answer to the description in the contract. Options are A. Void, B. Voidable, C. Valid and enforceable, and D. Illegal. Apply your mind. We have discussed all these concepts when we were doing the act. And still you have any problem with the concept understanding, go through the revisionary videos which are available in the channel. People are again confused with both the options. It's really understandable also. That in here also, if you are getting confused, what will happen in the exam? So we need to prepare much well for this MCQ kind of a format exams. Now the confusion is between obviously the two options, that is void and voidable. The correct answer is void. Why it is void? Because the goods which are supposed to be transferred are themselves perish. So it's void, not voidable. Option A is correct. Doctrine of caveat emptor means options: A. Let the seller beware. B. Let the buyer beware. C. Let the creditor beware. And D. None. So, what's the meaning of caveat emptor? At least we can do justice to this question. All should participate. Yeah, I'm getting a really a rally of answers. So, all are with us unanimously going for option B, that is, let the buyer beware, is the meaning of the Latin phrase caveat emptor. Goods that are sold only by description and not identified and agreed upon at the time of contract of sale are known as A. Specific goods, B. Existing goods, C. Future goods, D. Unascertained goods. Goods that are sold only by description and not identified and agreed upon at the time of sale are A. Specific goods, B. Existing goods, C. Future goods, D. Unascertained goods. These kind of questions cannot go wrong, please. And I am getting unanimously one answer and all are correct. So obviously, congrats to all those who are answering well. That is Uncertain goods. Uncertain goods are not identified and they are just only for description purpose will be written in the contract of sale and they are agreed upon at the time of contract of sale. So they are not identified. So they are uncertain goods. Option D is correct. Ram supplies gold to Sham, a goldsmith, to make an ornament. Sham charged 15,000. What it is? A. Agreement to sell. B. Hire purchase. C. Contract for labor. And D. Future sale. A. Ram is supplying gold to the goldsmith Sham. And Sham for making the ornament. And Sham charged 15,000. The contract is A. Agreement to sell. B. Hire purchase. C. Contract for labor. D. Future sale. Here just the application of mind is required. A common guest can also do your work. Few people are still so confused they are saying two choices. We can't have a 50-50 here. Please go for a one option. Yeah, unanimously, mostly people have answered, and this is correct. That is, it is contract for labor. Contract for labor is where the goldsmith is being asked just to make a gold ornament, and gold is supplied by the person himself, right? So that's why it is a contract for labor or work and labor or labor, and then the goldsmith will just charge the making charges will be charged, right? Because the gold was already being supplied. It was not bought from him. So option C is correct. Everyone, most of them have answered C. Which statement does not constitute an essential element for a contract of sale? So you have to identify what is not an essential element for a contract of sale. Options. Existence of all essential elements of a valid contract. B. Existence of a seller and a buyer. C. Subject matter of contract must be goods. D. Payment of consideration at the time of making the contract. Which statement does not constitute an essential element of a contract of sale? Most conceptual question. Not an essential element of a contract of sale. A. Existence of all essential elements of a valid contract. B. Existence of a seller and the buyer. C. Subject matter must be goods. And D. Payment of consideration at the time of making a contract. So unanimously people are answering and going with one option. That's good. That everyone are very much well prepared. And this is option D they are saying and they are correct. Now why they are correct? Because all other things like essential elements of valid contract which you have learned under the contract act and obviously few specific are with respect to sales of goods act that also we have already covered. So the valid contracts essential elements everything will be there in the contract of sale. Buyer and seller is a specific condition for here. Sales of goods act, yes, they should be present. Subject matter should always be goods because goods constitutes movable property and only movable property has been the should be the part of the contract of sale. So that is also correct. But is it any requirement is there that you have to make the payment of the consideration that is the price at the time of making the contract? No, because when we discuss the price, there are different ways of ascertaining the price and price can be paid later as well. So we are concentrating on the transfer of ownership. And transfer of ownership can be done without payment of price also. Price and the delivery can be postponed as well. The rule which we had learned when we were doing the transfer of property rules, right? So everyone very good. I can see that everyone answering correct. Which of the following is not a document of title? Which of the following is not a document of title? A. Bill of lading. B. Railway receipt. C. Dock warrant. D. Pro forma invoice. Which is not a document of title. These kind of questions doesn't take anything. It's just to cram few words and it's done. So you need to just practice this again and again and it will be done. And these kind of questions will always appear. So which of the following is not the document of title to goods? A. Bill of lading. B. Railway receipt. C. Dock warrant. D. Pro forma invoice. So we have mixed answers coming, and the correct answer for this question is option number D. That is pro forma invoice. Actual bill is different from the pro forma invoice, actual invoice or a bill. So actual invoice is a document of title, but the pro forma invoice is not a document of title. And other three options, bill of lading, dock warrant, railway receipt, all are considered as a document of title. Which of the following is not a type of a document of title? Which of the following is not a type of a document of title? A. Bill of lading. B. Dock warrant. C. Railway receipt. D. None of these. Which of the following is not a document of title? A. Bill of lading. B. Dock warrant. C. Railway receipt. And D. None. So the correct answer is option D. None of these is not a document of title. All are document of title, obviously. So it's asks not a document of title. So not a document of title, all are document of title. So we'll go for the option D, that is none of these. Future goods are options. Acquisition A. Acquisition of goods which depend upon the happening or non-happening of an event. B. Identified and agreed upon at the time of contract. C. Goods identified by description at the time of contract. And D. Goods produced after making the contract of sale. Most conceptual. We are going again into basics. So if you are not so serious when we were dealing with the act, at least watch these sessions. This will really help you, because we are again going into the basics. Very basic question. Future goods are A. Acquisition of the goods which depends upon the happening and non-happening of an event. B. Identified and agreed upon at the time of contract of sale. C. Goods defined by the description at the time of contract of sale. And D. Goods produced after making of the contract. The term future itself means that it will be done in the future. So if a little common sense can make an answer for this question, and option D is correct, most of them have answered correctly. Breach of warranty gives a right to options. Breach of warranty gives a right to A. Reject goods. B. Treat the contract as repudiated. C. Claim new goods. D. Claim damages, but not a right to reject the goods and treat the contract as repudiated. Breach of warranty. Breach of warranty gives a right to A. Reject goods. Treat the contract as repudiated. B. C. Claim new goods. D. Claim damages, but not a right to reject the goods and treat the contract as repudiated. Again, into the most basic questions, we are dealing with the definitions. And still, people have confusion. They are mixing up with the choices. Unanimously, they are not going for a certain choice. The correct answer for this question is option D. It is a breach of warranty. So, breach of warranty, you can just claim damages, but not the buyer has not a right to reject the goods or treat the contract as repudiated. So let me know the scores. Out of 10, how well you have performed today. We have got maximum participation today. So, wow, a person has got 10 on 10, 9 on 10, 9, 9. Very well, very good, very good. We have 10 on 10, so we should congratulate him. Abhinanda Roy, wow. Congrats. So he is the clear winner for this session. We have a very good competition today, and all the participants have performed really, really, really well. I can really feel motivated by seeing this, that maximum people are 10 or just a 1 mark short of 10, and people are those who have just scored little low, they are also not as low as possible. So all are maximum 7 or 7 up. So it's really motivating for everyone. So if a one person can do it, entire population can do it, right? So we should also congratulate him, our friend, that is Abhinava, and very good for him. And always best wishes for others, those who are performing, keep going well. And now we'll take the feedback. So rate the session on the scale of 5. Most beneficial session will you will give a 5 rating, and the least beneficial will is the 1. So let's take the stars or the rating for the session. How was the participants performed? How was the video and how you like it, and how the questions were? Is there the questions were challenging, confusing? So rate the session. So we understand that how the feedback we get from all the participants and all the viewers. You can put the rating in the comments as well. Okay, most of them are rating as 5 on 5. So people are really getting benefit of it. So do share among your friends who really want this and who are in the need of understanding the subject. Thank you for your patient listening and viewing. We'll be meeting very soon with another set of MCQs. So till then, keep revising and keep performing well. Thank you for today's session.